Connor McDavid is the best player of his generation, maybe the best ever. Well, I mean, he's not better than Gretzky all time, but he's the most talented player ever. This dude's skills are off the charts. He's been putting up 100-point seasons since he was 19 years old. And last season, he literally had the most points in like 30 years, I think, when he finished with 153 points. But what we're going to do here in today's video is I'm going to break every single NHL record with Connor McDavid. That is right. We are going to go down the list for the most games played, the most goals, the most assists, the most points, most 50-goal seasons, and of course the most 100-point seasons. And at the end of Connor McDavid's career, he should have the most of every single category, so he can finish as the greatest player in NHL history. So without further ado, let's get into the video and let me show you how I'm going to make Connor McDavid break every single NHL record. So not only is Connor McDavid going to be playing the entire game on every single forward line, but I've also added in former Oilers legends like Wayne Gretzky, Mark Messier, Jari Kurri, Paul Coffey, Chris Pronger, and of course in goal we are going to have none other than Grant Fuhr at an 89 overall. So we have the best players that have ever played for our franchise, so we should sim very well. These great players should help Connor McDavid put up the most points possible. He is going to be playing the entire game. Of course, he's on all the power play and penalty kill lines. He is 26 years old, and so far in his NHL career, he has 303 goals, 547 assists for 850 points and only 569 games played. But the goal is to break every single NHL record possible, so the most games played, goals, points, assists, 50-goal seasons, and of course 100-point seasons. If you guys do enjoy videos like this, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more just like this. So obviously Edmonton is going to be the best team in the entire NHL as we go 64, 13, and 5, good enough for 133 points on the season. Now of course none of these teams really matter. We're only here for Connor McDavid and his record breaking. Speaking of record breaking, Connor McDavid is going to score 85 goals and 235 points. Mark Messier had 110 and 44 goals. Jari Kurri 101. Paul Coffey 90. Nugent Hopkins at 89. Wayne Gretzky only 38 goals and 80 points on the season. You're telling me that Ryan Nugent Hopkins is going to have more points than the great one? Leon Draisaitl only had 24 goals and 72 points. I guess McDavid is hogging everything. Now obviously McDavid is going to lead in goals with 85 and points with 235. Jack Hughes was up there. Zibanejad, Kucherov, Mark Messier. Now for goals in the NHL, Zibanejad, Matthews, Pasta, and Ovechkin. God damn, Mika Zibanejad scored 58 goals. That is nice. And somehow we are going to end up losing to the St. Louis Blues in 6 games as they go on and win the Stanley Cup, sweeping the Buffalo Sabres in the Stanley Cup final. Now, of course, in the playoffs, McDavid did his thing, 17 goals and 36 points in only 16 games. That is crazy. Obviously, McDavid is going to take home the Selke, Ted Lindsay, Maurice Richard, Art Ross, and Hart Trophy. He's the best player ever. Paul Coffey is going to win the Norris, the Lady Byng to McDavid, the Conn Smythe to Saad, and the Vezina to Gustafsson. Now, of course, Connor McDavid is still a 99 overall, but we do got to put him back on every single forward line. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to do this every single season. We're not really here for Stanley Cups, but it would be nice to win them. I mean, we kind of are, because I want McDavid to finish with the most Stanley Cups ever. So, yet again, the Edmonton Oilers are going to be the best team in the NHL as we win 62 games, 129 points, followed by the New Jersey Devils. Colorado was up there, Dallas, Minnesota, and Toronto. Connor McDavid is going to continue to light the NHL on fire. 81 goals and 254 points in only 82 games. That is crazy. He was a plus 143. He only had a 14 shooting percentage, which honestly is not that high. Paul Coffey had 111. Wayne Gretzky 102. Draisaitl only 92. Nuge 92. Mark Messier 91. Jari Kurri 91. Kurri had 30 goals. Messier 32. Nuge 30. Oh my god, the amount of goals our team scored is absolutely insane. 27, 30, 32, 30, 40, 45, 23, 81. I didn't even check last season, but Grant Fuhr went 54, 13, and 4. 5 shutouts and not really the greatest stats. Yet again, McDavid is going to lead in goals with 81 and points with 254. Followed by Paul Coffey's 111. Jesper Bratt had 104. Kyle Connor 103. Crosby was up there, and Wayne Gretzky, of course. Now for goals in the NHL, Matthews had 52. Zibanejad 50. Kaprizov 50. Bedard was up there with 46. We are going to end up losing in 6 games of the second round to the Vancouver Canucks as the Colorado Avalanche go on and beat the Washington Capitals. Again, not the greatest playoff run by the Oilers, but McDavid is going to do his thing. 9 goals, 23 points in only 12 games. Connor McDavid is the greatest player in NHL history. Paul Coffey is going to win the Norris yet again. The Lady Byng to McDavid, the Conn Smythe to Nathan MacKinnon, and the Vezina to Curtis Joseph. I still cannot understand why the computer insists on putting Wayne Gretzky on the second second line. I know he's a center, but he should be able to play the wing as well. How can you not put Draisaitl, McDavid, and Gretzky on the first line? Yet again, the Edmonton Oilers were the best team in their division and the best in the NHL, this time winning 65 games, 134 points, followed by the Rangers. Toronto was up there, Columbus, Colorado, and Ottawa. Connor McDavid is going to take a slight step back. I mean, only 66 goals and 188 points. He was playing the entire game, so I don't know why his minutes, or not his minutes, his points were so low. His time on ice was 52 minutes and 59 seconds, so he still was playing the entire game. Paul Coffey had 101, Yari Curry 83, Mark Messier 82, and Gretzky 80. Nuge was up there as well, and Draisaitl 69. For goals on our team, of course, McDavid had 66, Gretzky 45, Messier 32, Curry 31, Draisaitl 30. Now, despite the down season that McDavid had, he's still going to lead in goals with 66 and points with 188, followed by Coffey's 101, Breadman 97, McKinnon 96, Ovi 94. Despite the fact he is 40 years old, Cale Makar was up there with 93, so maybe there was not a lot of goal scoring going on in the NHL this year. So finally, it's about damn time that the Edmonton Oilers make the Stanley Cup Finals. We are up against the New Jersey Devils, Jack Hughes, Luke Hughes, Nico Hischier, all those great guys. Let's see if McDavid goes on and takes home his very first Stanley Cup of his NHL career. And there you go, the Edmonton Oilers have gone on to win the Stanley Cup as they dominate Jack Hughes and the New Jersey Devils in 4 games in the Stanley Cup Final. Connor McDavid gets his very first Stanley Cup of his NHL career, as well as Leon Draisaitl, but I mean, we're more so here for McDavid. Connor McDavid's gonna take home the Conn Smythe, only 22 goals, but 58 points. What a monster playoff run by the Conn Smythe winner. And there he is, the captain of the Edmonton Oilers, the most talented player of all time, winning the Stanley Cup for the very first time in his career, as Connor McDavid now is always gonna be a Stanley Cup champion, no matter what. Now, obviously, in the playoffs, McDavid was very good. 22 goals, 58 points. Mark Messier had 24. He was their second leading scorer. So a big drop-off from McDavid. Yari Curry had 22. Nuge, 21. Connor McDavid is Connor McDavid, of course. Paul Coffey is the greatest defenseman of all time. Connor McDavid is going to take home the Conn Smythe, of course. The Calder to Michael Misa, who is on the Chicago Blackhawks, and the Vezina will go to Grant Fuhr. The Edmonton Oilers are going to continue to dominate the NHL, having their best regular season, I think, of franchise history, as we win 68 games, good enough for 138 points, followed by the Rangers. Minnesota was up there, Tampa Bay, and Colorado. McDavid is going to finish the season with 82 goals and 219 points. A much needed bounce back season by him. Wayne Gretzky finally woken up, 61 goals and 120 points. Mark Messier had 102, Paul Coffey 102, Draisaitl only 70, but he did have 44 goals. Nugent Hopkins had 62, 27 goals. Obviously, McDavid is going to lead in goals with 82 and points with 219, followed by Gretzky's 120, Makar had 109, Kucherov 106, and Crosby 106. Nikita Kucherov is going to score 65 goals. Gretzky had 61, Ovechkin 58, 41 years old, by the way. Patrick Kane had 57, Matthews 54, and yet again, the Edmonton Oilers are back in the Stanley Cup Final, this time up against the New York Rangers. McDavid going to go on and win back-to-back Stanley Cups, his second of his career, or will he fall short? And the Edmonton Oilers are going to fall in a heartbreaking Game 7 loss to the New York Rangers in the Stanley Cup Final. Now, despite that, McDavid probably had his best playoff run of his career, 25 goals and 57 points in only 24 games played. Gretzky had 16 goals and 34 points, Messier 32, Paul Coffey 27.
Oh, Connor McDavid, my glorious, glorious king.
Paul Coffey is the best defenseman ever, the Lady Bing to McDavid, and the Conn Smythe is going to go to Breadman. The Vezina will go to Grant Fuhr yet again. Yet again, the Oilers are going to dominate the regular season, this time winning 65 games, good enough for 133 points, followed by the Rangers, who just beat us in the Stanley Cup Final. Minnesota was up here, Toronto, New York, Columbus, New Jersey. Connor McDavid is going to finish the season with 79 goals and 221 points, followed by Mark Messier's 100. Paul Coffey had 95, Gretzky 93, Yari Curry 90. Draisaitl was up there as well. A lot of goal scoring going on here. 35 goals for Draisaitl, 28 for Curry, 47 for Gretzky, 43 for Messier, and of course 79 for McDavid. Yet again, he's going to lead the NHL in goals with 79 and points with 221. Followed by Ovi's 110. Adam Fox had 109. Suzuki was up there, 108. Timmy Stu, 106. McKinnon as well. Now for goals in the NHL, David Pastrnak is going to come in second place with 59 goals. Followed by Ovechkin's 58. McKinnon 54. Kucherov 51. Bedard had 46. He was up there. Somehow we are going to end up losing to the St. Louis Blues in 6 games in round number 1 as Toronto goes on and wins the Stanley Cup, beating the St. Louis Blues in the Stanley Cup Finals in 7 games. I mean, Connor McDavid didn't have much of a playoff run. 6 goals, 10 points, -4 in only 6 playoff games in the very first round. Connor McDavid is Mark Messier. Adam Fox is going to take home the Norris, the Lady Bing to McDavid. The Conn Smythe is going to go to William Nylander, and the Vezina to Jesper Wallstedt. The Edmonton Oilers are going to end up finishing first in the entire NHL as they go 62, 15, and 5. Good enough for 129 points on the season. Followed by the New York Islanders. Toronto was up there. The Rangers, Anaheim, Minnesota, Colorado, and New Jersey. Connor McDavid is still going to dominate as he scores 82 goals and 243 points on the season. Followed by Wayne Gretzky's 118. Paul Coffey had 97. Messier 96. Nuge 74. Somehow Leon Draisaitl only had 68 points on the season. Yari Curry and Zach Hyman of all people. Now for goals on our team, Draisaitl 27, Curry 27, Nuge had 29, Messier 28, Wayne Gretzky had 60, and of course McDavid had 82. Yet again, McDavid's going to lead in goals with 82 and points with 243, followed by Austin Matthews 123. This Poitras guy is going to have 119, Gretzky 118, Nylander had 118 as well. Now for goals in the NHL, Cole Caulfield's going to come in second place with 61, followed by Gretzky who had 60, Mark Scheifele somehow had 58, Matthews was up there, McKinnon, Kucherov, Rantanen, and the Edmonton Oilers are back in the Stanley Cup Finals yet again, this time up against the New York Islanders. Can McDavid go on and capture his second Stanley Cup of his career? And the Edmonton Oilers are going to get it done as they dominate the New York Islanders in 5 games in the Stanley Cup Finals as McDavid captures his second Stanley Cup of his career. And of course, he was awesome in the Stanley Cup Final. He's been awesome this entire video, basically putting up ridiculous stats. And of course, the Conn Smythe is going to go to McDavid. 23 goals, 51 points in the playoff run. And here he is yet again, McDavid coming to lift the Stanley Cup for the second time in his NHL career as he continues to build on his legacy for being the greatest NHL player ever. Connor McDavid is not Connor McDavid for that matter. Paul Coffey is going to win the Norris yet again. Lady Bing to McDavid. The Conn Smythe, of course, also to McDavid. And the Vezina is going to go to Ilya Sorokin. Yet again, the Oilers are going to be the best team in the NHL, this time winning 65 games. I mean, every single season, we have literally been the best. We also had 133 points. Anaheim was up here, Minnesota, Columbus, New Jersey, Carolina, Toronto, Washington. Who do we have at the bottom? I have not checked the bottom of the standings lately. Ottawa, Seattle, San Jose is still down there. Connor McDavid is actually going to have his best scoring season of his career so far with 107 goals, also 235 points. But I mean, he's never scored over 100 goals and now he has 107. Yari Curry had 100 points as well as Paul Coffey. Mark Messier had 89. Gretzky only 81 for some reason. He is not having the greatest simulation so far throughout the video. Gretzky had 41 goals, Nuge 30, Messier 28, Yari Curry 23, and Draisaitl 23. Also, Grant Fuhr did his thing, 50 wins, only 2 shutouts, but decent save percentage and not the greatest goals against, but it's not bad either. Again, the most goals and the most points in the entire NHL. Austin Matthews was also up there at 115, Marner 109, Kaprizov 106. This Matthew guy had 106 as well, Pastrnak 103. Now for goals in the NHL, Matthews, Kucherov, Pasta all had 60 goals, 60 plus at least. McKinnon had 52, Rantanen 51, and this Toby Ling guy is going to have 48 goals and 83 points, -2 on the Arizona Coyotes. So we are going to end up losing to Connor Bedard and the Chicago Blackhawks in the conference finals as the Rangers go on and beat them in 5 games in the Stanley Cup Finals. Now for the playoffs, McDavid's going to have 11 goals and 29 points in only 15 playoff games. He was a -3 though. Nugent Hopkins had 14, Messier 13, Draisaitl 12, and Zach Hyman 12. Now of course we know McDavid dominates all the individual awards. Paul Coffey dominates the Norris, again McDavid, but the Conn Smythe is going to go to Adam Fox, and the Vezina to Grant Fuhr. Now, it does look like McDavid is starting to fall off as he's dropped down to a 95 overall. He's only 33, so he's still very young, so I don't know why he's dropping down so quickly, but now, surprisingly, the Oilers are actually going to have their worst record of the video so far, only winning 51 games. I think it's our worst record at least. We finished with 113 points, yet we were still the best team in the entire NHL, followed by Carolina, New York, Buffalo, and the Islanders. Now, despite the fact that McDavid is getting older, he's still going to put up those points, 88 goals and 218 points, followed by Yari Curry's 100, Messier 96, Coffey 96, Gretzky only 76, Draisaitl 69, nice. Drake Batherson somehow is on our team now. Again, for the entire NHL, McDavid's leading in goals with 88 and points with 218. Nobody's even going to come close to that because McDavid's time on ice is 52 minutes and 51 seconds. Mikko Rantanen had 121. Bedard was up there at 112. Eklund 112 as well. Tage Thompson had 110. Svechnikov 110. And for goals in the NHL, Tage Thompson's going to come in second place with 66 goals, followed by Rantanen 60. McKinnon was up there. Kaprizov, Robertson, Matthews, and of course the Colorado Avalanche are going to beat us in the very first round in 6 games as the LA Kings go on and win the Stanley Cup. Now, despite getting dealt with in 6 games, McDavid's going to score 3 goals and 13 points. Connor McDavid, Connor McDavid, Connor McDavid, Connor McDavid, Connor McDavid. Howe is going to win the Conn Smythe and the Vezina to Spencer Knight. Connor McDavid is getting worse at a rapid pace as he's down to a 92 overall now, only 34 years old. So hopefully we get a couple more years out of him putting up at least 200 points. And it looks like the Edmonton Oilers might be falling off a cliff themselves as we only end up finishing 3rd in the Pacific, going 42, 32, and 8, good enough for 92 points on the season. And we are finally not the best team in the NHL. That is the Minnesota Wild, winning 57 games, followed by Carolina, LA, New York, Dallas, Columbus, Anaheim. Where the hell were we? We were pretty far down. 12th in the NHL were the Edmonton Oilers. Connor McDavid is going to take a slight step back, only scoring 53 goals and 185 points, followed by Wayne Gretzky's 104. Messier had 87. Bouchard had 61. Paul Coffey 53. Draisaitl somehow only had 51 now for goals on our team. Gretzky is actually going to lead with 58, more than McDavid's 53. Ryan Hartman had 22. Messier 23. We didn't have a lot of goal scoring on our team besides our top 2 guys. Of course, McDavid is still going to lead in points with 185, followed by your mom's a hose 114. Bedard had 112. Matthews 111. Matthew Barzal was up there. Howe had 107. Now for goals in the NHL, Matthews is going to lead with 67, followed by Kaprizov 61. Pasta was up there. Gretzky, McKinnon, McDavid. So the Edmonton Oilers are going to lose in the second round to the Nashville Predators as the Minnesota Wild have their Cinderella season, winning the Stanley Cup, beating Tampa Bay in 7 games. McDavid in the playoffs had 13 goals and 33 points in only 12 playoff games. He was still very good despite the fact he's only a 91 now. McDavid is going to take home the Selke, Ted Lindsay, Art Ross, and Hart Trophy, while the Maurice Richard to Matthews. The Norris is going to go to Brant Clark. The Conn Smythe is going to go to Eklund. The Vezina to Jesper Wallstedt. So Connor McDavid now is down at an 89 overall, 35 years old. I don't know where the hell Wayne Gretzky went. He's not here anymore. I mean, in all honesty, this Edmonton Oilers roster is pretty washed, but at least McDavid's going to be playing the entire game still, so he should put up a lot of points. The Oilers are going to somewhat rebound, I guess, this season as they end up finishing 2nd in the Pacific, going 44, 31, and 7. Good enough for 95 points on the season. The LA Kings were the best team in the NHL, followed by New Jersey, Minnesota, Carolina, Toronto, Chicago. Where were we at here? We were 10th in the NHL, the Edmonton Oilers, that is. Connor McDavid is going to have a comeback season, 87 goals and 219 points, despite the fact he's only an 87 overall. Mark Messier had 87, Draisaitl 74, Bouchard 70. For the entire NHL, obviously McDavid is going to lead in goals with 87 and points with 219. And the LA Kings are going to go on and win the Stanley Cup, beating Montreal in 7 games in the Stanley Cup final. Now, Connor McDavid was still pretty good in the playoffs, even though he lost in the very first round. 3 goals, 18 points, -3 in 7 playoff games. Connor McDavid is Connor McDavid. The Norris is going to go to Luke Hughes. The Lady Bing, obviously, to McDavid. The Conn Smythe is going to go to Zach Benson, and the Vezina to Dustin Wolf. So it looks like Connor McDavid is washed at this point as he's only going to be an 86 overall. The only good thing for him is that he's still going to be playing the entire game. His cardio is crazy. He is the cardio king in the bedroom with Leon Draisaitl, Lauren Kyle. The Edmonton Oilers are going to finish 1st in the Pacific as we go 48, 28, and 6. Good enough for 102 points. points, and we would end up being the third best team in the entire league, below Columbus and Minnesota. Connor McDavid is going to score 75 goals and 226 points. I get the fact that he's washed, but I guess if you play him the entire game, 37 years old, doesn't got a lot of time left though. Yari Curry came in second place on our team, 76 points, as well as Messier, Stan Coven at 74, Draisaitl 65, also 44 goals. Now McDavid is going to lead in goals with 75, one more than this guy, Toby Ling, who had 74, and he's going to lead in points with 226. Again, another first round exit by the Edmonton Oilers, but this time it was to the eventual Stanley Cup winning Dallas Stars as they sweep the Rangers. I mean, is there anything else to say at this point? McDavid has taken home pretty much every award every single season. Still no retirement for Connor McDavid though, as guys like Barzal, Aho, Rantanen, and Matthews are all gone. Connor McDavid now is an 84 overall. He still has some left in the tank, not a lot obviously because he is 37 years old. So it looks like the Edmonton Oilers run is officially over as we end up finishing dead last in our division, going 35, 39, and 8, only 78 points on the season. Now, despite that, McDavid is still going to do his thing, 58 goals, 204 points. I mean, I don't really know who else is on the team here. Draisaitl's still here, 39 years old, 28 goals, 59 points, still trying to do his thing at least. Now, Connor McDavid is going to lead the entire league in scoring with 204 points, but for goals, it was not going to be him. It's going to be Mr. Connor Bedard, 67 goals. I guess it is the Bedsy show now, 67 goals. He's in the prime of his career as well. And the LA Kings are going to go on and win another Stanley Cup as they beat New Jersey in 7 games in the Stanley Cup final. McDavid is going to take home the Selke, Ted Lindsay, Art Ross, and Hart Trophy. Connor McDavid is still on the board, has not decided to retire yet. And yet again, the Oilers are trash as we are the worst team in our division, going 28, 47, and 7, only 63 points. That is tough. Now, Connor McDavid is still doing his thing, 55 goals, 201 points. He was a minus 65. I mean, scoring 200 points and still being a minus 65. Do you know how bad defensively this team has to be? Now, McDavid is still going to lead in points with 201, but for goals, it's going to go to Toby Ling with 67 goals in the NHL. So McDavid's goal scoring ability has kind of fallen off. He's still scoring 55 goals, but... And there you go. At the age of 42, Connor McDavid has decided to retire from the NHL. He is going to finish with 1,442 goals, 2,775 assists for 4,217 points, and that was all done in 1,881 games. An insane stat line, and that is just for the regular season. If we take a look at the playoffs here, he scored 166 goals, 256 assists for 422 points. His stat lines were absolutely insane, still scoring over 200 points up until his very last season. Now for the record book, it doesn't look like Connor McDavid is going to finish with the most games played, as Alex Ovechkin is going to take the cake for that, but he is going to have the most goals in NHL history, the most points as well, and of course the most assists. Somehow Adam Fox is going to come in second place. That is crazy. William Nylander was up there as well, and of course for the most 50-goal seasons, it's going to be Connor McDavid at 16, and the most 100-point seasons, 21 in his NHL career. That is crazy. So there we go. We have broken every single record. I mean, we didn't get the games played, but I guess Alex Ovechkin is a legit Iron Man. And that is going to do it for this video, boys. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. And there you go. We have done it. We have made Connor McDavid the best NHL player of all time, breaking pretty much every single record. Not only is he going to have the most goals, assists, and points in the NHL, but he's also going to have 18 Art Ross trophies, 16 Hart trophies, 12 Maurice Richard trophies, and of course, only 2 Stanley Cups and 2 Conn Smythes to go on his record. Let me know in the comments below what player I should do next. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, don't be silly. Wrap your willy.